Hey lovelies, welcome back to the channel. I am here with all of my journals because I did say that I was going to do an updated journals I'm currently using video, and so this is it. And I have all of the journals here. I have some journals here that I should be working in that I have not actually picked up in a while, and I think I might have shared a couple of them very briefly in past videos, but yeah, I haven't shared them. I have two new ones. I actually have more than two new ones, I think. There's just a lot of journals happening here. And I remember at the beginning of this year that I started with just the one. I started off with two. I started off with my little A6 everyday kind of journals, and then of course my one little word journal. And so I don't know, I'm like trying to figure out which pile to begin first. I might just show you these, then these, then these. And so let us move them, rearrange furniture here a little bit so that I can show you my journals. And so I feel like in my previous journals that I'm currently using, I think that was dated May, so that was 2 months ago. Yeah, about. I shared this. This was like, I think I shared this. This was like a DIY 3-year journal that I did in this tiny little Muji notebook that I have. Well, this only is the first half of the year. So January through the ending of June. And the idea was to get another notebook like this from Muji and do the rest of the year. Well, I went to basically all the Mujis in Manhattan almost looking for this same type of notebook, and I couldn't find one. And I'm pretty sure it's like the whole kind of supply chain thing, but I couldn't find them. I couldn't find them on their website, and the only other option that I had was to buy a Stalogy, but I didn't want to do that because this notebook was like $7 and a Stalogy is like twice that for the second half of the year. And this notebook, I needed one that was like, what, 188 pages? I think that's the number. Anyway, I didn't want to do that. And so what I ended up doing was buying a 5-year journal, which is this bad boy right here. I believe Lydia from February and June shared that she got a 5-year journal from Typo. And so I went on the Typo website and I purchased the same 5-year journal. I actually got mine for like $11, which I think was a better deal than buying a separate notebook for the second half of this. So what I've been doing is I am transferring all the stuff that's in here into here. That is what I'm doing. And I don't mind sort of kind of getting rid of this journal, yeah. I mean, I might just kind of use the pages for like scrap and stuff, especially the sections where I didn't write anything, because they're, the beginning half. I did start this in March, so like the beginning half of the year, January and February, beginning half, the beginning half of the half, January and February, I had to backtrack, and so not all of the days are filled up. And the way that I did this one was that I had a day here and then a blank here because I was kind of mimicking the Hobonichi 5-year journal. Well, the Typo one looks like this. It's basically a day per page. And so what I've been doing, I have a lot of work to do in this particular journal. First thing that I did was I recovered the journal in this fabric, and I still have to do this, but I probably won't do that because I will tell you what I'm actually going to do. But yeah, I just recovered it. It was like a purple. I'll try to put the link, if it's still available on the website, in the description box so you can see, but it said like reflect and collect or something like that on the cover. It was purple with this lime green. And so I just kind of covered the whole thing with this beautiful floral fabric. And yeah, that's the first thing that I did. The second thing that I did was I tried stamping out, you can see here, I tried stamping out the months and the days, because since this is a 5-year journal, I knew that if I went with the sticker option, it will just look like this at the end of it, really chunky, and I wanted to keep it in here. So I figured, you know what, if I just stamp out my dates, then that keeps it like flat, right? I hated it. I hated it so much. This paper is fairly thin too, and so like I was using distress inks because I figured they won't bleed as much, but actually this was a Hero Arts ink, I think, that bled that color. Whatever. I didn't like it at all. I hated it, and I did it like for like the first couple of days in January. I absolutely hated it. So the only way that I can figure out to cover that up would be to washi tape it. So you can see here, you can see January here. I think all the other dates I just did the numbers. And so I was able to just kind of white out that and then cover the whole top strip with washi. And so I did that for all of January. And then I went in and I had already made these cut files on my silhouette, and so I just printed and cut them again, but for the whole year. And so I have like pages of just year date stickers, and then the rest of the month ones that I have to still do in the journal. So I have those. And so what I ended up doing was I chose a floral washi tape for every month, and I went ahead and did the whole month in that washi. And so January is this beautiful Amity Bloom tape here, and then February is another of one of Nazi's tapes, and then March is a Planner Society tape, and I believe April is one of Nazi's, and I still have to do April's, and May is a Planner Society, and I still have to do May. June, I think, is also a Planner Society one, and I just marked up like the first and last days of each month so that I know what I have to kind of go back and do. So I have to do June's. July, I did all of July because we're currently in July, and so I wanted to keep up with the journal, right? And so this is a mixture of a Planner Society, and then this was from Michael's, I think, a washi tape. And so basically each month has a different sort of washi on the top. So that's August. September's is going to look like this. October's is this beautiful Felicity Jane washi tape that I've had forever. And November is like this Maggie Holmes mixture, and then December is this really nice Planner Society tape. And so each month, I think December is done. December is all done, and so is November. So like each month is just a different washi on the top. And so you see here, I did do July because it's right in the middle. I did December, November, and January, February, and then I just finished off March and a little bit of April. And so I'll probably do April and then come back and do October. So I'm like kind of building it out on both sides, but it's still going to end up being really, really chunky like this. And I've already measured this, and this is like almost 3 inches now. And so I'm pretty sure I'm estimating it's going to be about 3.5 inches wide. And then I have the stickers down here. Anyway, it's going to be chunky and is not going to fit very well for this to like close. And so what I was thinking, since how this book is constructed, is that all of the signatures are actually sewn into this little, I don't know if you can see, it's into this little piece here. And so what I was planning to do was just cut the whole lot out, and then make a cover using chipboard and fabric. Maybe not this fabric, I'll probably do a different fabric, and then just glue this bit onto the cover that I make on both sides. And so that the book will just then open up to this page, and then etc., etc. And so that's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to make my cover, I'm going to make the spine way bigger. I'm going to make it at least 3 inches wide. I think this kind of looks like it's an inch, or an inch. No, it's about an inch, or inch and a half, I would say. But yeah, it's definitely going to have to be 3 inches, or I'm thinking 3.5 inches just to be safe. So that way, when it closes, it's not like alligator mouth. It'll just sit nicely. And so this is a project. I'm trying to keep up with it in the present, as well as going back and adding the stuff that I had in here. And so I've been doing these. So I have some pages, if I can find one, that had pictures, and I sized it perfectly for this journal, you know. but this is wider because it's 3 years. This is wider than this 5-year one. And so what I've been doing is just cutting them out because I don't want to reprint. I've just been cutting them out of the pages, you know, after I do the writing for like whatever day, and just gluing them in here, like cutting them so that they fit in the spot and just gluing them in. And I have a few, and like it doesn't cover like the whole section, you know, but I just make do with it. It's fine for right now. I might for the future like size this, maybe, but I'm definitely gonna have to size it if I print out new photos height wise, not so much width wise, but definitely height wise, so that I know what would fit into this little thing here if I want to put more photos. So like this, I'm gonna try cutting these out and seeing if I can just put them in here, but I have a feeling that they're not all gonna fit across, so I might have to reprint these out again, which is unfortunate because then I'm just wasting glossy photo paper. And this is sticker paper too, so it's a little bit more expensive, but yeah, so this is my new 5-year journal that I have been keeping. I'm transitioning from the DIY 3-year to this official 5-year journal. And honestly, like, even though like I have parts of January that aren't, you know, I have days that aren't filled up, and that's okay. February is the same. I have a little bit more of February filled up than January, and then I have more of March. I will have more of March because I haven't transferred all of March over yet, just this. And then I think after March, April, May, June, and July are pretty consistent. I mean, you can just see here that there are some days that I just didn't write anything, and that's okay. Like if I don't have any record of what I did, I'm not gonna remember like just like the mundane things. And so I'm completely fine with just skipping that over. I realized that this year hasn't been going the way that I planned or the way that I thought it would go. And I'm just giving myself grace and not being like, you know how you get hard on yourself when you fall behind on things? Yeah, I'm trying not to do that. Like, I'm just like, you know what? I don't know what I did on, let's February 15th, you know, or the 18th or 19th or the 21st or et cetera, et cetera. That's okay. I don't know what I did March 1st. I don't have anything for March 1st. I have this for the 2nd, but I don't have anything for the 1st. And you know what? That's fine. That's fine. I'll just skip it over. Hopefully next year I can add some things here. I mean, these would be really cute spots to like do art, you know, do like a little art thing there or a drawing or something like that. But yeah, so this is the big project. I think, you know, I'm going to see if I can add more of the washi tape to my months, but I have a feeling that I really just want to rebind it. But I feel like I should just finish off the washi tape first before I rebind this. But I just really want to rebind it. This is driving me insane. So I tend to just keep it open like this on my desk. But this is a big monster. And so what I'll do is I'll just kind of cut the whole thing out and then make a bigger cover for it. And then this cover will still be intact. So I'll probably just tape it to reinforce the spine, then cover this inside with some paper, and then use it to make a journal out of. I'm totally gonna do that because I've used all this fabric to cover up this cover, and so I'm going to do that. So that is my 5-year journal that I am keeping, and I actually really like coming in here. I find that when I do journal that day, I journal in here as opposed to my everyday journal. This I'm behind on, but you know what? It's those days are just not going to get journaled. It's okay. At least I have the little snippet in here. And yeah, it's just been nice to just journal just a little bit of stuff in that little section, you know. When I do remember to sit down and journal, I've been going here first. So that is this journal. I can put this away. And then might as well just talk about this little one briefly. This is my little A6. This is the one that I made after my Tennessee journal. So I think it picks up from June 18th, I guess was the first entry of here. And yeah, I don't journal in here every day. It's just whenever I want to journal things. Like this is first day of summer, the solstice. I went shopping with my mom one weekend, and so that's what's in this pocket. And right, yeah, I went shopping with my mom. This was sort of like a, I'd like to introduce my journals with a picture of me and stuff like that. This was sort of half that because I did journal here about going to the American Dream Mall, and we went because I had a coupon to Altered State, that store that I found in Tennessee. There's a location, the only location by me is in New Jersey. And so it's at this super mega mall. And so we went to a Primark, and I got me another like Disney shirt and stuff like that. So that is what's in this little pocket here, documenting that. Again, the solstice. So I have this, I think this was a Calm magazine printable. So I journaled about that. I think the following day, oh no, that same day, my brother and I went to go see Lightyear. So I'm just journaling about all of that. And then a couple of days later, I got COVID. And so I took a picture of my first positive test, and then like all of them here because it took me forever to test negative. And these are not like, they're not consecutive days. Like I took one test and then I waited like 3 days, took another test, waited 3 days, etc., etc. When I had symptoms, I just didn't test at all, and my symptoms were like super weird and super mild. Like when I first felt sick, I wasn't actually sick, but I felt like I had a cold, but I didn't have a cold. And so like all of my friends had gotten COVID at that point. And I'm just like, hey, what were your symptoms like your first day with whatever? These are mine. And like, it's weird because it's not the typical symptoms currently. Like I had a hoarse voice. I had sort of like my upper back where my shoulders were hurt. Like I had, I don't know if it was probably a little bit of muscle pain, but just in that area. And that's it. Those were my symptoms that first day, but I felt like I had a cold, like I was sick, but I didn't have a stuffy nose. I didn't have a sore throat. I didn't have a headache. I didn't have a runny nose. I didn't have any of that, but I still felt like I was sick. And so I was just like, this is weird. This is probably COVID, but I took a test that first day that I woke up with that, and I tested negative. And so I had asked my friends, I'm just like, hey, what were your symptoms? Because this is what I woke up with, and I feel like I'm sick, but I am not like physically sick. And then it was the consensus. I mean, I was going to test the next day, just, again. And so I did, and that one came out stinking positive, like right there. Like I put the little dropper thingy on it, and then like 2 seconds there was a line, right? And so I was like, okay, cool, this is it. But like I never got cold symptoms. Like by the second day, my muscle pains had gone away. I still had a hoarse voice, like I really couldn't speak. And then in the evenings, I developed like chills and night sweats when I was sleeping. And that's it. That is it. I think further along, I developed like a post-nasal drip, but I wasn't congested. I didn't have a runny nose, just like a post-nasal drip. Didn't have a sore throat. Didn't have a headache, didn't have fatigue, didn't have a fever, literally just a sore, like a hoarse voice, and eventually the postnasal drip that resulted in like a cough because I had like that little drip. And then that was it. Like literally that was it. I was fully functioning, completely fine. And then all of those symptoms just lasted for like 3 days. And then after that, I was fine, but I still kept testing positive. And so I would do like, once I didn't have like symptoms anymore, I would test, and then I would wait 2 or 3 days and test again, wait 2 or 3 days and test again. And meanwhile, I was like stuck basically in my bedroom for like almost 2 weeks because, you have to just stay isolated from everybody else that you live with, and everything like that. And it's just like, I didn't go outside for all that time because I just kept testing positive, even though I wasn't ill anymore. It was a saga. Thankfully, though, I no longer have the thing, but I wanted to put my row of test here, and my first initial test here, and then of course the little thing, because I went through a whole packet of home kits that the government sent to each household. Crazy. But I'm fine. But that's here. It took like, what, 2.5 years for me to get it. But yeah, I ended up being completely fine. Hopefully it stays that way. But yeah, that's what I journaled about there. So a lot of that time, no journaling happened. Nothing particularly happened because literally the day that I tested positive, I started my new job. Thank God that my new job is remote, but I started a new job. And so it's like in my head, I'm just like, oh my God, I can't really call out. I just started this job. And then it was remote, and like the first week was very slow because it was just me kind of getting my stuff set up, getting like my logins for everything, getting acquainted to the schedule and stuff like that. And so it really wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. And then I was fully functional, yeah. So that was that. This envelope here is actually a card. I bought stuff from Pura Vida. Like I bought rings, they didn't fit. I was able to send one back for an exchange, but the other one I have to keep, so I have to figure out what to do with it. But I went on Poshmark and a girl was selling the same ring that it didn't fit that I had to keep because I couldn't exchange it in the size smaller than I needed, so I just bought it from her. And this is the card that she sent with it, and I put one of the stickers here. I didn't actually glue it down. I just kind of stuck it with a paper clip, and then I wanted to list out all the things that I watched while I was in isolation. Basically 3 movies and the entire season 3 of The Umbrella Academy because I had the time. Of course, this is between like when I was actually working, but I had the time. And so I just kind of made a little collage of all of the kind of posters and printed that off here. And then the rest of it, I did things, but I need to go in and journal. And so I did put in like the photographs and stuff like that. This I have to glue down here, but I have all the spaces and all the things to do the actual journaling. And so I'm really behind on this. I really need to come in here and catch up. But this is like my sort of, I call it my lovely journal. It's like my everyday journal when I want to do some sort of documentation, memory keeping, or just straight up writing. I do it in here. And so that's this one. These are the little journals that I've been keeping since the beginning of the year. And so that's this little one here. And then some of the other ones that you're familiar with already is my Unraveling journal, aka my one little word, because let's be real, I have not been unraveling. I mean, there's some places in here that aren't part of the one little word thing. Like this wasn't part of one little word. That was me straight up doing my unraveling thing that I like to do. This was also my own unraveling stuff. And then this is all one little word afterwards, but it's a hodgepodge. Basically, I'm doing Ali Edwards One Little Word course this year. It's my first time doing it. I would do sort of like a makeshift one little word, and I kind of interwoven that with my unraveling process. And so that's why I call this my unraveling journal. But honestly, it's becoming more of a one little word journal because I just haven't been sitting down to kind of write about self-growth and exploration of myself, etc., like I normally would do. But this is the journal, and I'll give you like a little flip of it, of like what I have so far. So this is all January's, all of January's stuff here, and all of my lovely responses and stuff to Allie's course. This is my list of books that I've been reading. So I always have a stack of books that I want to read in relation to my unraveling process. And so that's this here, my vision board, my mind map, and then some extra journaling, an extra unraveling here. This is my conversation with my word and the poem that I wrote, and then the I think I have a video on this. And then this is just straight up journaling for April because I didn't do the prompt for April. May, this was some unraveling that I did. I did the So the Five Love Languages website has a apology language quiz, and so I did that, and I just kind of printed out my results and put that in here. And then I didn't do May's prompts, so this is just journaling. And then this was June's mid-year review. So I did those. This is actually May's. This should have been May's, but I am attempting it this month in July, and I am failing miserably at it. I'm doing okay for the daily journaling, but like this, the reading and the art making, I haven't. So we'll see. This might go into August. I might actually continue with it, or maybe do this for July and then mark up this for August. I don't know. We'll see. And then that is where I am in my Unraveling One Little Word journal. And so for the companion, I would say, usually to my unraveling process, is this. This is my daybook of dreams. It's literally just a scrapbook of things that inspire me, quotes, images, art. I need to do some journaling here. Yeah, it's just things that inspire me, that make me happy, poetry, quotes, images, papers, things that I want to manifest, like my home, and just kind of stuff like that. And so this is another one that I've been keeping. So I've been doing a lot of manifesting of a home, particularly because I want my own home eventually. And so I was doing it in here, and then I realized, you know what? I'm just gonna make my own little journal specifically for that. And so kind of all of these three journals kind of interact with each other, because I tend to do a lot of the inspiration keeping and manifestation and stuff like that in my Unraveling journal. But like I said, this is becoming more of a one little word that I just made the second one to just be my daybook of dreams, my hopes and dreams and inspirations and stuff like that. And so I've decided to make a home journal. And so this is for the home that I don't have yet, but I just de-ringed a Filofax, and I used the same eyelets, and I just strung some seam binding there, and it's holding this journal. I have this pocket full of images and things that I want to go in here, but this is just a little journal that I made that is all about my home. And so I have inspiration for what I want the outside of my home to look like. I have to do tons of journaling. So I have that in here. And then I have like my entryway. I have like photographs that like sort of like the aesthetic that I want in my entryway. And then of course doing just a little bullet point journaling, the sunroom. And so I've kind of broken it up by room. Like this is the kitchen. These are like magazine images and clip outs. And I have some swatches. So this is actually the fabric for the cover. I love this fabric. I did another journal. I think my January, February journal for this year was this same fabric, but it's upholstery fabric that I just get a sample of. And I'm just like, you know what? I would just love this sample to be in my kitchen, like as the curtains or something, because like these are the sort of the colors. I know this is all pink, but this is the French kind of aesthetic that I'm looking for, but more of this kind of blue, like the French cottage blue color. And so I have inspiration photos, and then of course like this lovely palette card from Nazi. One of Nazi's printable was perfect because these are the colors that I'm looking at. So yeah, like just inspiration. I want a bay window, and so I found these photos of a bay window. My garden, a lot of garden clippings are gonna go in here. Gonna go in here eventually. And I basically have to do the journaling. This is the bedroom. And so these are just inspiration pages. I already have, I want this, it's a day bed, but I want it for my couch. And I already ordered the samples so you can feel them. These are the two colors that I'm thinking of going with for that. My craft room. And again, I have to go in and do all of the journaling and all the things and add more stuff and go to Home Depot and get paint swatches and stuff like that. So this is sort of like my inspiration, kind of like swatch book of what I want my home to look like. But I'm also, because I'm doing this, I'm manifesting it, you know, because this to me, this already means that I've already gotten my home, right? And so that's what this new journal is about. And I have so much fun just going through magazines and cutting stuff up and going basically window shopping online and printing out images of products that I want and just gluing it all in here. I just got to sit down and actually write out my thoughts of like for each thing. And so that's these three. And then the last couple of ones that I have are art journals, and not like the typical art journal that I normally keep, right? These are all art journals that are for a class or classes that I haven't finished yet, because I enroll in classes and I do them and then I stop, especially if they're live, based. I don't know, for some reason I get halfway and then I still keep up with like the live stuff, like I'll watch it but I won't actually do the stuff in it. And so I still have to work in all three of these journals, but I think this is my first time sharing. I think these two, I think I shared this one, but like, yeah, so you're going to get a special peek at these unfinished journals that are part of classes that I haven't finished yet, that I need to go and finish. And so I'm going to go one by one and show you these. So this first journal, I think, is the one that I've shared before. So let's move that here. This is the little journal that I am keeping for Liz Lammers' Touchstone class. Oh my God. It's been maybe a couple of Aprils ago since I did this. Actually, one April ago last year, because I actually dated it. But it's basically a 5.5 by 5.5 Arteza journal that I just kind of covered with fabric and lace on the outside, and I will try to leave a link to Liz's class, but this is her Touchstones class, and I think I am still on lesson 13. I honestly have not picked this up since I finished lesson 12 whenever I did that ages ago. But yeah, this is my little journal for that course. It's an art journal. I definitely mimicked Liz's style with this. Like, I attempted my own version of her style with this journal specifically, and yeah, it's a different kind of style. For me, it's more collagey and a little less sort of mixed media in terms of a art journal. Is there any? I think there's journaling. Yep, there's journaling in here. But yeah, definitely. I really should go back and kind of try to complete this journal here. There's journaling in this. I'm not gonna open it up at all. This is just a little peek of this journal. Lots of writing, because Liz is all about poetry and getting the words out, and I think that's about it. So I had to I have to finish this side and then continue on. I did take out pages, so I don't have so many pages, but I gotta finish. I really enjoyed doing these sorts of collages here with, like, I think the first one I did was this one actually, and I loved how it looked, and so I did it again here and over here with just different little sayings that popped to my mind, and some photographs of flowers and old book pages. So simple. I love it. I like the style of this journal only because it is very simple. And of course, each spread is responding to a prompt. And so that's this journal that I should really go back to that course and finish it off, because I'm literally at the halfway mark. There's only 22 lessons and I'm on lesson 13. So I'm literally halfway there. And so I should really, really finish that. The other course that I should really, really finish is this one. This is my little golden book journal that I made for James Luke Burke's Virtual Voyage. I want to say 5. Is it 5? Virtual Voyage 5? Virtual Voyage 4. Oh my God, Virtual Voyage 4, not even 5. 4. So I think he's on 6 now. I have no idea. But it's virtual voyages ago, and this was the Pixar cruise. And so I just bought me a Toy Story little golden book, and I made my own little golden book journal from it. And yeah, Toy Story, well, it's not Toy Story thing, it's Pixar themed. So that's why I went with this cover. And how I did it was that I used some of the book pages and then interspersed watercolor paper in with the book pages. And I have 4 signatures since there's 4 ports of inspiration. So I have 4 signatures and each signature is for a port. And so each port was themed a different Pixar film and themed a different artist that we were learning the style and mimicking the style of for that Pixar movie, if that makes sense. So this is the cover. I basically used the cover from like the first page from the actual book, and I did purchase some washi tape from James, so he like sends it along with this ginormous sticker that is like kiss cut, so there's individual stickers, and one of them was his logo, which is JLB Creative, and I decided to put that here, and then I went ahead and saved the course logo from Teachable and printed it off on sticker paper so that I can put it here. So it's JLB Creative Virtual Voyage 4 with the Pixar logo, you know, the Pixar Cruise logo here, just for my front page. And I kind of left like the Toy Story themed intro page here as well. And I really like that because it kind of introduces the journal. And so the first section was the itinerary for the cruise. And for any of like the digital pages and like the, these little like worksheet handouts, I guess, all I did was print them out on paper and glued them to the book pages. So I did use the book pages. And for the most part, I didn't cover all of them. Like for this one, I really like this image of Bonnie, so I didn't cover her up, but for the other ones I did. And I think I have one here that's a Buzz, and I love that, so I didn't really cover it up, but for the most part that's where I put all of the handouts, I guess you can say. And so the first section is the Inside Out port, and so I actually went back and print and cut all of the passport stamps, I think that's what they're called, and I printed them out on sticker paper just to put them in the different sections. So the first port was headquarters, and this was all about Inside Out. I think one of the first like warm-up lessons or warm-up projects, I guess you can call them, was this, and so I did Boo and Kitty, well, Boo and Sully from Monsters Inc., and I used gouache, and so I didn't actually like how this came out, but yeah, I just did a lot of things that I guess I wouldn't normally do. I realized like when it comes to like drawing and coloring things in, I'm very rusty when it comes to like colors, matching colors and stuff like that. It's very different from like a mixed media page where I can just smear paint on the page and scribbles and stuff. This is actually like something, right? So yeah, obviously you can see I did not finish a lot of the Inside Out part. There's still pages where I can actually fill in with other parts from different lessons. I did finish this one. This is the Bing Bong Over the Rainbow part of that movie. This is the Up House. That was the lesson. My Hobby Island I did finish. So I believe Inside Out was in the style of Sir Quentin Blake. And so this is the style sheet for it. This obviously I did not finish. I didn't do my Mi'kmaq, so I have to do that. And this is where I would do it. This was just the handout for it. I did do this, and I did do these collage abstract. You know the part in Inside Out where they go through the thing and they get all abstracted? That's what this was. But I didn't do my Mi'kmaq. And then that is Inside Out. That's the first port. The second port was all Monsters Inc. in the style of Rune Naito, and I think one of the live lessons was from Luca, and so I did my drawing of Luca. I just didn't finish it, so that's something I'd have to finish. I have my little cute little monsters. This is for the Boo lesson that I have not finished. Another little monster. I have Mike there, and then this is like a guide for all making the little monsters. This is the guy for Boo. And I didn't do my monster roll thing, so that's what these pages are for. I did do my little Monstropolis, and then I have extra pages for all the other lessons that I didn't do or finish in Monsters Inc. section. The third one is Coco, and Claire Keene was the artist that we were looking at. I didn't finish this at all. This is for this and that too. And then that's it. That's all I did for Coco. And I think around Coco is when I kind of fell off the bandwagon. I think there are things that I have to print out and put on these pages and other lessons that I have to do. And so this last section is Toy Story in the style of Mary Blair. And of course, I didn't even touch it. So I do have to go and like print out the worksheets and work through the rest of that. These are just extras. So these are the port stickers. This is what I was talking about. He packs his purchase, you know, what you buy from it with this. And so these are all stickers. So I used the one that said JLB Creative. This is some of the printables. So yeah, I have to finish that. I have to be in the mood, I think, to jump back into this. But oh my god, if you are looking for, like, if you really like James Luke Burke, I'll leave his handle in the description down below. If you really like kind of his, I guess, style. I mean, his style is so different because he has a distinct style and he's super talented, but he likes to learn and like he likes to learn different artist styles, and like incorporate that and change it up. He's just so creative, so talented. If you like that, if you kind of like drawing, that sort of mixed media art journal type bit, and if you love Disney, because I think a lot of his virtual voyages are Disney themed in some way, not all of them, but most of them, I definitely recommend taking a virtual voyage course from him, because holy cow, so much. There's so much in these courses, so much. I'm surprised that I did as much as I did, because there's just so much content. So yeah, I would have to be in the mood and have a lot of time in my hands to like jump right back into this, but I wanted to show you that. I have that journal. And then my last one I have to share here is this little one. And so James, he always talks about Art Journaling the Magic, which is a different sort of online retreat. I believe it used to be a retreat at the Disney parks. Like you can do art at the Disney parks. But of course, because of everything, it went online. And I have been meaning to do one, and I just haven't. So I actually did one. I forget, this was the first one of this year. It was in May, obviously, because it was Star Wars Day. I think that was the first day. And so I made this little journal for myself. I had this fabric from Joanne, and it's basically Disney princesses and like a hand drawn. So I just made this little journal, and I have a mixture of watercolor and mixed media and drawing paper, I think, in here. And yeah, so Art Journaling the Magic, it seems like they do 3 different retreats. They do a spring one, which is this one. They do like a summer camp, and then they do the fall one. And I just purchased the spring one. I think currently, as I'm filming this, they're doing the summer camp one. I didn't really gel with the theme of that one. I actually really like the theme of the fall one, so I'm just going to wait till the fall one comes out and register for that and continue to do it in this journal. So like, I know how James does it. He has a journal per retreat, but the retreats are like jam-packed 4 days of stuff. And honestly, I don't know how he fills a journal up for like 4 days of things, but he just kind of gets into the mode and like just does it. And oh my god, I so admire that. But that's not me. And so I made this little journal to basically house all of the Art Journaling the Magic stuff that I decide to do. And so I'm pretty sure this is gonna come with me through maybe like 2 more Art Journaling the Magic retreats. And obviously I haven't even finished the one from this one, but I have 3 signatures in here. So I'm thinking, because I did go into this signature, so I'm thinking, yeah, I think another 2 retreats would fit in here. I have to see how I go with the fall retreat that I'm gonna do, but yeah, like, and not all of these things are like lessons. Most of it are lessons. I'm gonna flip through it, but most of it are lessons. But I'm just gonna keep this as sort of like a Disney park kind of journal, kind of art journal in the Art Journaling the Magic style. I haven't decided yet what this cover is going to be, but I'm pretty sure it's going to say Art Journaling the Magic, and then I'm going to do something here, but I don't know. I really wanted to illustrate this, and so this is Duffy and Friends. So Duffy Bear, they're kind of a suite of characters at the Asia Disney parks. I believe they debuted in Tokyo Sea first, but they're in Hong Kong now. They're in Shanghai, mostly in the Asia parks. I think in the history of Disney parks, Duffy Bear did actually appear in the States, in their parks at some point. But they're mostly a staple of the Asia parks. And little Lena Bell, she's new to the gang. And so I think this was like the traditional kind of I guess, parade of the characters, and then they added her. And so I wanted to illustrate that here. And so I don't know what I'm going to put here, maybe some journaling, I have no idea. But I did go ahead. This was before the retreat started, and I drew this. And me working with my watercolors and my colored pencils, I don't think I'm very good at it, but yeah, I just had fun doing that, right? And so obviously this page is not finished, and I will have to go back and finish that. And so the first lesson was actually the Star Wars Day stuff. So the retreat started on May the 4th, and that of course is Star Wars Day. So the first two kind of live lessons were Star Wars themed. And I really, really enjoyed this. This spread is basically finished. I used some of the printables, and I love my little puffer pig here. I feel like this was April Gleason's lesson, and I absolutely loved it. I loved all of her lessons. I've never actually taken a course or anything from her, but I might consider it because I really, really enjoyed. This was hers as well. I enjoyed hers a lot, like more than I expected. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I really like making these. I didn't know what these creatures were prior to this day, but it was really, really fun. And so it started off here, and then this is some of the other lessons. This was like an ongoing lesson. So this retreat theme was Encanto themed, and I think this was sort of one of those fonty type lessons, and I think you had to pick like lyrics from the songs. And so I know the examples that Tangi gave were from what's her face's Isabel's song for the most part, because that song was all about creating something new, right? And so I think the whole retreat was themed based on that song. But my favorite song is Dos Oruguitas, and it's the one that's in Spanish. And it is my absolute favorite. It's such a beautiful song. Honestly, out of everything that Lin-Manuel Miranda has ever written, I personally think that this song is his best written song, which it's interesting for me because in an interview he said that this song, normally when he writes like his Spanish songs, he writes them in English and then he translates them into Spanish, but this song was the first one that he wrote in Spanish. He wrote it in Spanish, and it's the only song that stays in Spanish for like all the soundtrack. I mean, there is an English version of it on the soundtrack, but like all the soundtracks for all over the world, this song stays in Spanish. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful song. And so I had to, I believe the lyrics that I chose here were the chorus. This was the chorus. And I still have to go in and like color it and maybe add some motifs and stuff in it, but I got it all down. I just have to finish it. This was the blind contour stuff. I think I'm going to cover all of it up because I don't like it, which is fine to do. I'm taking a note from James's book, and what he does is he basically just covers it over and then does something else, and that's probably what I'll do there. This was Mindy Lacefield's lesson. I kind of, this was from the zine, and I kind of put her artwork here because it's so pretty. Mine, I wish I did it more in her kind of flowy watercolor style, but it's okay. It's like a candy house. I tipped this in with some washi. So I have some Disney themed washi here. and I mounted this on some scrapbooking paper. So this paper is from the Fairy Tale Club, and some of these tickets are from the Fairy Tale Club, and the stickers are from the Fairy Tale Club as well. This is from when I used to get their kits. This is from a digital, and then I have a bunch of these vintage Disney ephemera pieces. So this is my little art journaling the magic kind of stash here. But I have a bunch of these ephemera pieces that I printed them all off on sticker paper, matte sticker paper. This is actually free in my shop, so I will leave a link to that if you're into Disney. I tend to use all of these in my Disney park scrapbooks, and it's just, these are just scans of old tickets and stuff from the parks way back when, and I've spent, this is like years of me collecting these scans from different blogs of people who scan them in, and I just made a free printable because I get asked all the time, oh, for those scrapbooks in particular, like where I find these, and literally I just saved them on my computer. And so I just kind of I compiled all of them into a PDF, and it's free in my shop because I cannot charge for that. But yeah, so I did this. This wasn't part of any lesson. In Art Journaling and Magic, we do like artist trading cards almost. And so the theme of this retreat was Encanto, but it was about home and like creativity and stuff like that. And so I just did this themed home. I actually drew the castle in Paris because it is my favorite castle. It's the prettiest, I think, and it is my favorite because it's so pretty. It's so pretty and it's so Parisian. And so I kind of did like a little scrapbooking page of some photos from when I was in Disneyland Paris here. And so this spread is completed. And this was April's other lesson, and it was to take your favorite character and like a soda can and illustrate that and turn it into a little house for them. And so I did Gelatoni and Canada Dry because it's one of, I don't drink soft drinks, but I do like ginger ale when I do, and so I did that, and I still have to like finish this. I have to finish it. This was James, one of James's, and it was basically the Encanto house. These are definitely not in my colors, but it is the colors of Encanto, and I had fun just basically scribbling and splotching things, and yeah, like it was a very good exercise to get loose. So that's finished. This was James's other one that I didn't finish, Monsters Inc. themed. And then these are the little couches for the different characters, and so I have one left to do. This is Scrump, this is Marie, and that's Gelatoni. I have one left to do. And then there are more lessons, I just didn't get to them, and so that is this. I still have plenty of stuff to do from that retreat. And of course, I am planning to enroll in the fall retreat, and I will work in here for that one as well. And so that those two are my little kind of Disney art journal, mixed media journals that are works in progress. They're works in progress. I have a lot of work to do to catch up on those, and I have this entire course to finish, well, half of it to finish in this journal, and then the rest of them are just my normal everyday journals, you know, my Daybook of Dreams, which I don't journal in often. It's just whenever I want to make an inspiring page that I go in here and I make it. It's more like a commonplace book, if you want to think of it that way. Yeah, maybe I'll do like a whole video on this. I don't think I have yet, just to explain the concept of that. But yeah, I usually do it in tandem with my Unraveling journal. Like all this stuff usually goes into the Unraveling journal. But since this is more like a one little word journal, I'm just keeping it strictly mostly one little word. So that's that one. And I work in this one once a month because it's one little word. I actually haven't done July's yet, so I have to go and do that. And then of course this is sort of like a continuation of this and this. You know, because my home stuff is in the vision board in here, but it's also in a couple of pages in here. But then this whole journal is just about my home, you know, my future home, I guess you can say. And then of course I have my everyday journal, which is this one. This is the one that, you know, I journal in usually mostly, but lately, you know, when I've been journaling, I've been journaling in my 5-year journal, which is this one. And of course, again, this is a process of just transferring this into this. But yeah, I really want to get back into this because I have some pages that I really need to sit down and do the actual journaling. At least I was good enough to like print out photos and actually put like ephemera pieces and stuff in here. But I really need to go back in and do the journaling for those pages. And yeah. These are all of my journals. These are all of the journals. There is a lot of journals. And so these are the ones that I currently have going. And I really want to make another art journal that is more abstract-y art, you know, just kind of mixed media, playing around with stuff, because I have tons of material and I have tons of, oh my God, supplies and like paints and mediums and stuff like that I just need to play with. I just need to go and play with. And so I am hoping to make a little journal or find one that I've already made and use it for that. So I might have another journal coming along, but so far this is what I've been keeping. And it's insane that I went from 2 journals, my one little word journal and this little everyday journal, and it just grew into all of this. And then I've already filled up a couple of these little ones. So I'm gonna have a lot of journals at the end of the year, and maybe for the first time ever I can do like a video like the journals that I filled up this year video, because I would have a lot of them completed, amazingly enough. I never have a lot of journal. I barely even have one journal that I complete in a year, I think. Yeah, like that I really deemed finish. But yeah, but I've just been on a roll. And I have a lot of completed journals, as you saw, because flip throughs of completed journals are like the easiest things to film. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed a look at the current journals that I am using currently or that are currently in progress. I really want to do another video about like a mid-year tag. Lynn's Love Life on YouTube, she does a journal tag for the middle of the year where she answers questions, and I think I want to attempt that again this year. So be on the lookout for that. It might come a little later. It might come in the beginning of August. But yeah, I'm slowly getting back into the groove of filming videos and sharing. Hopefully I have the time to sit down and actually be creative and maybe film processes. But right now it's just a bunch of flip throughs of things that I currently have in progress, right? But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed looking at all of my journals that I have been keeping this year. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all lovelies next time. Bye.